Alright, everything's good. Let's get this a little bit more set up how I need it. Alright, so today I'm going to do a pretty rough just defining of areas, similar to how these have been done. I'm going to do it, I think I'm going to stay towards this area, and then maybe do a little bit over here with the tanneries. Although I think the tanneries, I'm going to kind of bring this element to the wall on this side of it, but I need to condense this down because right now this is gigantic. But that's kind of what I'm looking at today. Let's grab some building shapes. And some of these might end up being some of these buildings I've already built, but for now it'll just be easier to kind of rough this all in with just some simple shapes. And then I can bring in buildings if I feel like, hey, this one will work here, or I can, you know, modify them to some degree. Just trying to get the heights to be similar. Okay, so I've got a couple to work with. Well, the issue that I'm going to have, I think, is going to be like what to do with this specifically. I think the part I'm going to have the trouble with is going to be like going down this street, but also leaving some room over here for the in windows and stuff. So maybe these will end up being slightly smaller. Let me see, what was I using for? Was I using 5? Yeah, I was using about 5. So let's make these, let's try some shorter buildings over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Architect time. Hey Keith, how's it going? Hey Nordan, how you doing this afternoon? Oops. Let's reset the pivot on this one. This tree might end up moving. I think I threw this in here just to add some greenery, but it's kind of getting in the way, but we'll see. So let's bring this down, bring that up. See where I can get some larger buildings in here. I also want to keep in mind kind of this straight on view. Hey Zukin. And the line of sight and all that. Oh yeah, definitely, Keith. That and getting the cavern stuff in Wormsbane was a nice little nice little break. But I'd like to try to get this area blocked in. I still need to do windows on some of these buildings over here, But I'd like to, my goal is to get this kind of roughed in, this roughed in, this roughed in better by the end of the month. So that's kind of my goal. Whether I finish doing the pass on Windows and stuff like that, I need to clean up this kind of larger building as well. I didn't like how this specifically is working, so I need to play around with this a little bit more. But once I have all of this kind of laid in, this can also lead me into being able to do some of the subterranean stuff and then think about how that passage is going to link up with Wormsbane that I was mentioning during my last stream. Hey Chumley, how's it going? So that's kind of where I'm at. So these are like the larger buildings. They take up a decent amount of space. There might not be a whole lot going on in here, to be honest, just because if these are the larger buildings, even though granted these might be turned more like this. But I also don't want to like break up what's going on here, even though these walls need to be actually like better defined. The city's really filling out. Yeah, it definitely is. It's actually like this area is like legit starting to feel like a city. I need to be able to pop in some towers and stuff like that too, and see if there's any areas in here I can stick like bases of towers or put them on top of buildings, something like that. Hey Goblin, how's it going? Okay, so let's just kind of play with a couple just random shapes. And again, some of these, for everybody who's just kind of hopping in, some of these may end up being copy and paste from some of the buildings I've already done. I'm just doing this to let me kind of really quickly play around with stuff. Like if I want to adjust, for instance, like if I wanted to adjust this building, I have to worry about all the stuff inside as I'm like moving stuff around, so it's just way easier to kind of sketch out what these could be with very primitive shapes. I don't have to worry about all that, the doors, the windows, the interior walls, all that kind of fun stuff. Oh, yeah, here's something some of you guys haven't seen. Ali implemented the new nav mesh system. So that's in. Chugs a little bit when I'm streaming. It's not as bad when I'm not, but it looks like, I have to talk to him a little bit more about it, but it looks like it even automatically puts in the transitions, which the other one, both of the previous nav mesh methods we were using did not do that. So like NPCs can see that they're jumping down, which is awesome. I don't know if I can see. Yeah, I can't see that it could jump down into there, but this will be an elevator at some point. But yeah, previously we would have had to have defined that stuff. And it looks like it's doing it automatically, because I don't think, unless he was walking around, or not walking around, like flying around in here and like linking up all these individual transitions by hand, which from the look of it would probably take it a while. But it wasn't. This wasn't in last night, so he might have done it. But I think he was just playing around with the settings a little bit. So we should have a little bit better pathing. Actually, I need to turn this off. There we go. So I don't see it. Cool. Because that really does slow everything down. Let's also move this down a pinch. Oops. That was weird. I was having like lag from uh-oh. Alright, we're good. Maybe I won't play with that on stream, because it seems to be a little laggy while I move that. Alright, so that I want to play with some higher, like some buildings with second stories, but at the same time I kind of don't. Maybe I can do it with this one. I'll move this over here. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good shapes that I had. That I'd want to bring over. So how's everybody doing today? Anybody up to anything fun? I spent my morning cleaning up my drafting table and finally fixing. Well, I have to test it and see if everything's level still, which is probably not. So that'll be fun. But I ran out of time before stream time started. But my 3D printer should no longer be jammed, which is awesome. I've only been fixing that off for like a couple months now. Sitting at work wishing I wasn't sitting at work. Normal Wednesday. Sounds about right. Just woke up, watched the new Eminem video by Red Beer Flynn. Oh, I didn't know there was a new video out. I'll have to check that out later. Yeah, I ended up sleeping in a little later than I normally do this morning as well. Man, last night I could not fall asleep. I accidentally took like an hour and a half nap, and it completely screwed up my body clock. Like, I didn't fall asleep until like 4 in the morning. I was just laying in bed, like, tossing and turning. So I slept in a little bit and then finished cleaning off my drafting table, which had gotten a little out of control. From my kids mostly. That's why you don't like to nap. It screws things up. Yep, I wasn't attempting to. I I laid down and was like listening to a video, and next thing I know, I was waking up, not sure what year it was. Like, where am I? I need to figure out how I want to handle all of these areas around the inn, because like some of these buildings are totally good. Not that these windows are like super important, but like it's totally jacking up some of the line of sight. Comments seem positive. Nice. So yeah, definitely have to check that one out. Body requires naps sometimes, I guess. That's why my whole schedule is so sporadic. Yeah, if I'm not careful, I will very quickly become like nocturnal. So I have to be really careful for the next like day or two now, because that definitely can and has happened before on my summer breaks, and then is it such a pain in the ass to get back on like a normal person type schedule. So I think what I'll probably end up doing is having the road kind of run along there. I don't know. I don't think I should have any buildings up against this. If I have anything up against this, maybe like market stall type things, but not too much up against that. So if this is going straight here, I could probably do a second line of buildings. More like, granted I'm just duplicating the same one just to kind of visualize this. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9. 6. Only problem with cleaning up all that stuff is I've got like so much dust in my eyes. I probably should have taken a shower before I jumped on, but I was running late. That, and I've got like, I don't know how many of you guys do 3D printing, but one of the ways to help get the filament to stick is to put down like glue stick. I scraped my my bed clean of like all the old glue stick, and man, my fingers are like dusty and like sticky, and I washed them like 3 times before I hopped on the stream, and there's still like some sticky residue, and it's driving me crazy as I like move my fingers around on the keyboard. I'm like, ah, it's like in the webbings of my hand. Attempt to do this and hope there's no lag. Is it like auto building in the background or something when I let go? Because like, I don't know. I'm going to play around with it now that we're using this new system. It almost feels like it's building in the background. Let's test that. Nope, it is definitely not. Yeah, some, yeah, I saw some where they weren't into the classic look, and that's fine. Yeah, not everybody's going to be. That is definitely going to be true, but that is completely fine. I'm definitely going to fix the terrain. There's some weird things going on still. But I don't like this like freezing that it's doing, so I'm going to try to limit that a bit as I say that as I keep like clicking on stuff. Alright, let's run these last 2. Yeah, those people just aren't your target audience. Yeah. Exactly. Not gonna please everybody. And that's okay. Because there are games out there already that try to nail the hyper-realistic look. Which is fun to do. It just, obviously with our team size, it would be a much slower process. 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Some of that criticism will temper out once we get non-placeholder animations, full character customization, and to be honest, yeah, and as like the city, you know, as we get more textures and stuff, and it's not the same, you know, like 2 or 3 bricks, and you know, like 2 of those bricks are like the same color, are the same pattern, just different colors. As we start getting more and more stuff like that online, and I actually, you know, we go through and do actual like wood and plaster like bits kind of sticking out, more like little parapet things on top, and the city starts to come alive a little bit more. That kind of, some of that stuff will go away as well. What the heck? Helps if I tell it to repeat, so it doesn't just go to some random video, I guess. And I lost my pivots. I guess lost the pivot isn't correct. It's just, I knew it was somewhere off my screen. I have to play with the wall over here because this is, well, granted, this, a lot of this is just not thought out terrain. But yeah, I'm definitely going to play with that some. All right. Probably move there. Maybe. Make this slightly smaller. closer. Maybe these back just a pinch. Two, three, four, five, six. Oh, that was already pretty high. So that means some of these are actually higher than they need to be. Just watch the video, it's pretty positive. Awesome. Oops. Helps if I'm in object mode if I'm trying to move the whole thing. Two, three, four, five. That's better. Alright, starting to get a decent feel. Again, I'm trying to play with the height, because some of these ones that have a little bit higher ceilings, I want to play around with that, that kind of concept where they just start above ground. So like the ground floor is, you know, elevated. Which I did a little bit over in here too. Get a hotel room with a seedy back alley view. run around here in a minute or two. This building needs to be bigger. Sure, just create something over, yep, right there. Probably had a stairwell going up here. Make that stick out so that I remember. How do you cut those windows using Pro Builder? Here, let me save real quick, and I'll fly over to one of the buildings I haven't done. So it depends on how my edge flow is working, kind of determines what I'm going to do. Something like this already has some edges that I could essentially use. On the inside, maybe not so much. So if I wanted to, I could add another edge loop through here. The biggest issue... hold on, where did I just fly out of? The biggest issue is if I just start throwing edge loops everywhere, it's going to just start throwing more and more polygons everywhere that aren't really necessary. So what you can also do, like, is say I wanted to have a window over here, select that face and just extrude it. Scale-wise, then kind of set it to where you want it to be. Bring these up. I'm going to merge these down on top of themselves. Oops. And then once I have, let's say this is the window that I want, what I do is I do an extrusion through it so that I can see it on the other side. Delete that face. And then I can, if I have an edge loop to work with, like this one, I could just move this down, move that over. Actually, let's just do it this way. And move the edges to line up. And then, oops, delete that, and you have your window. And then all I would do is collapse these vertices down on top of each other, since they're sitting on top of each other. That way, I could now grab these and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I wanted it over here. Granted, I didn't move that one, so I have that extra edge. That would need to get fixed, but I can sit there and just adjust where the window placement is. And if I did want to move that over, all I'd have to do is grab these edge loops. Why is this like playing random stuff? I have loop on. So yeah, obviously this would only work for one window, but now I can move this and like center it. Or I could, you know, decide to center it over that. And then just clean up my edges. If I wanted to. But yeah, that's essentially what I do. But if I already have all the edge loops, I'll just, you know, I'll just line them up so that they work nicely. Some of this stuff is all over the place now. Let me clean that up. But yeah, so it just depends. But if I want to cut something through, you know, that doesn't have the edge loops, as opposed to throwing edge loops everywhere, I'll just do it that way, or I'll just do an extrusion and push it through. You're the man, thanks. No problem. You know what, Keith? I went into Wormsbane after that, and I haven't tried that. Let's see if that actually works. Let's save. You said it was in the preferences? Pro Builder. I'm guessing this is the experimental one that has it. Let's see if this blows up. Okay. Let's go back to our building over here. I know I've seen the subtractive before. Where was it, though? Normals. Subdivide. Oh, I already saved. That was the first thing I did before I started trying. Let's see. Smooth. Shows like builds. Oh, is that new? The spline based thing? Nice. Was that there and I just didn't notice it before? I don't know if this is one of the experimental things or not, but this is pretty nice. Although playing with the spline like this is probably a little more dangerous. Can I... Let's delete that. Well, this can definitely come in handy for some things. Because I did not know I could do a spline with Pro Builder. No, Goblin. It's a spline editor. I don't know if this just happened to pop on, or was one of the experimental things that I just turned on or not, or if I just had never noticed it before. But man, is that useful. Now, how do you go back into editing it once you... Or is that it, like, once you've committed to the... Oh, there it is, edit shape. There we go. Free tangent mode. Yeah, that could very well be used for tunnels, for sure. Just to get really quick curves and stuff in. Because then all you'd have to do is just flip the normals and you have a tunnel, so... Doesn't let me do that though. Select, yep, flip normals. Now it's a tunnel. The most annoying part would be, like, linking it up to other tunnels, but that's still not that bad. Is that a tunnel? That is cool. Could be someday. I could see that being a great tool. Yeah, for tunnels, invert the UVs. Yep, exactly. According to YouTube comments, Eminem is already infected by Vanguard flunkies. Okay, so we got that. Now where is the object? Subdivide, which just subdivides it. Poly shape. Oh, this is just create your own poly shape. Okay. I remember seeing this at one point where it was like additive and then it had subtractive. I got all excited and then it did nothing. I just don't remember where the heck I saw it. Shape, cube. Default. Light maps, cast shadows, dynamic, additional settings, code, dynamic transform. Was I in a different mode? Ah, there you go, subtract. Yeah, it's not doing anything. When dragging select, add, subtract from selection. And dragging selected elements. Yeah, it's not doing what I want it to do. But that spline thing is pretty sweet. Now let me undo all of this. Try to get back to where before I started bringing this stuff in. Oh, these are still sitting here even though... That's weird. Alright, let's turn this stuff back off because I remember you mentioning that it had some warnings with it, so if I'm not using it directly, I'm not going to leave it on. At least for now. Oh, I had a store meshes asset thing that went away. I wonder if that... I'll have to look into that. I wonder if that actually would do the conversion over to BS or to FBX or OBJ like automatically, because that would be awesome. Going forward, maybe select both shapes. Yeah, I could. I'll have to look around in the documentation a little bit more. And see if it is something like that. Like I have to have them both like selected or something like that. Because like in Unreal, literally all you do is like change one to subtractive. Why is that not? And then if I were to like have them overlap, this one would just cut into the one that's an additive. So I'll just have to figure out exactly how that works. But for now, I'll leave it off. This is feeling a little too tight. Maybe. Actually, you know what? We should really just actually like hop in and run around for a minute. See how this stuff's starting to look and feel. Oop. See if I could type. I haven't ran around since last night. Right, whoop. Why is the rat? Did I attack the rat? I was not paying. Oh yeah, apparently I did. Hey, there's Nick. Yeah, when Olive had initially pushed this last night, Nick has gone through and cleaned some stuff up. But we had all the guys like spawning on top of walls and stuff like that. It was pretty funny looking. But it's nice to see the newbie yard kind of coming alive. Now that all of the mobs are pathing correctly again. Someone's dead. Nick. Alright, let's go run around. There's a lot of Nick corpses. Yeah, I see him over there. I'll have to fix at some point. I feel like this maybe needs to be a little wider. Granted, these aren't meant to be like main thoroughfares. A lot of this could end up being player housing and stuff like that too. Some more sprawl-like. Definitely got that kind of sprawl feel to it. It's a little twisty and turny. You might be able to get turned around in it, but it being pretty small also lets you kind of not get lost too badly. So just a little congested block. I think that works pretty well. But you guys can see over here just how big the tannery area is. It's probably way larger than we need it right now. But these were all arbitrarily kind of thrown in here when I was, or when we did the group lockout stream on Sean's stream. Let's hop back over. Oh, lag is annoying. And I'm sure it's something to do with it having that new nav mesh component attached to it. Even though it's not building in the background like I thought it might have been doing. Let's... Whoa! That was not what I wanted to do. Oops, missed one. Oh, come on. I wonder if it's going to do that even when I'm not streaming. To play with it off stream to see. Let's play with... I definitely going to have to play around with the terrain topology. Because I think what I'm going to end up doing is leveling this off here. And then... this ramp up is probably going to get tightened a little bit, and maybe even shifted slightly so it kind of aligns more with this. And then buildings can kind of go in here and along here. And then I need to level off these, make them more like plateaus, because I want to be able to put buildings up on top of these kind of areas as well, so little places kind of overlooking. That's really starting to fill out. Let's play around with some towers real quickly. Let's do 10 by 10. Let's do 12-sided, and also let's take a look at Goblin's concepts. Been a hot second since I looked at them. So I'm just gonna real quickly, I think, rough in this shape. This shape I could probably do in Pro Builder, but I feel like Maya would probably get me a better result. Oops. Nope, local and center. There we go. let's do that again. 8 by 8 this time, 12 and 10. Oh, hey Ishratari. Thank you for 3 months of subscribing. How are you doing today? Oops. Oh, Keith, I just noticed your message. I'm sure that it'll be challenging to make all the spaces meaningful. Yeah, and I'm sure some of them will feel more meaningful than others. I think it's just kind of part of how it will end up feeling to some degree. Why does this keep jumping to this audio? Oh. I think it's because it's in the playlist. That's why it keeps jumping. Let me see if I can find our channel. Playlists, music. There we go. Now it should actually like loop well. Alright, so I'm not doing this off of a image, so I'm just kind of eyeballing this just to kind of throw these around and see how these feel. I mean, I'm looking at an image, but I'm not like modeling it to the image, so it's not going to be perfect. Ooh. That was not what I wanted to have happen. Control Z until I have it back to a perfect circle. There we go. Come on, select the whole ring. Thank you. Again, not perfect. I'll probably model this in Maya, to be honest, because I can get a better representation of the concept that way. Kind of like that. Let's see. Hearing that ding made me think, what do you guys have planned for a level up sound? We have a level up sound in currently, I believe. I think we even have a D level sound, if I remember correctly. But I'll have to remember to play with sounds on at some point. But again, you know, just like anything, everything's currently subject to change. So but we do have something at least in. Wish you could just double select it and it would just do what I want it to do. Okay. Yeah, the angle seems a little off, but I just want to kind of throw some of these around. I also have to figure out how I want these, like, am I going to want these on top of buildings? Am I going to want these kind of just sitting on the ground? I just want to see how this is going to kind of affect the skyline. These are kind of just arbitrarily being plopped around right now, so these will be probably more thought out when I actually have them in, but I just want to see how it's going to affect. It's starting to get there. I don't like how they look, so I'm going to delete them. Again, I'll just probably build those in Maya. The shapes are just easier, and it's easier to model to get the angles correct based off of that. Like, this angle is going to be easy. The harder part up here is getting this structure that we've kind of built for like what the cooling tunnel type things look like in Night Harbor. Let's see, trying to not dry out in this heat. Should be around 100 and super humid. Pretty much drink the air. Yeah, it's kind of gross in the other rooms in my apartment right now. It isn't 100 here, but I think it's like close to 90. What is it at right now? Hold on, let me look at my phone. It is... Oh, it's only 88. So it could be worse. But yeah, it's still kind of gross. Not as bad as other places, obviously. Yeah, 97. I don't do well over 80, so it hits 80, I feel gross. No AC. Yeah, my apartment doesn't have AC, but I have AC. Like, I've got like an in-room AC for here and my living room. So I can keep the rooms cool. And then the boys are at their mom's for the summer, so by the time they get back, it's usually pretty cool. So, or not cool, but it's not like blistering gross. So I only have the two at least at the moment. Supposed to get into the 90s today. Typical for here though. No AC would be rough. Yes, no AC is not fun. I definitely had points in my life where I've had no AC, and it's not fun. So here's what I want to, like, do I want this to be a tighter space? Or just let it be more open like that. I guess you could have like some awnings or something kind of hanging in there to make it a little bit. I still need to level off this terrain because it's all kinds of not level. But if I'm going to be doing that, maybe I open this up a little bit, make it a little bit more inviting. One, two, three, four, five, six. Oh, oops. 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's also really tall. Some of these buildings got a little taller as I moved progressively towards the north end. Oops. Let's move that. I don't know if I want buildings all the way along that, but let's start blocking this in. I think these are going to, whoops, come more this way, and then I think I'm going to end up having a similar kind of break. The question is, these are walls, buildings. This doesn't have a building per se, but I could easily make it look like there was kind of a crumbled one. But I can get rid of that, not that whole thing. Get rid of that. Apparently I had a building hiding in that building. To build this stuff over. Probably larger than this building's going to end up actually being, but right now I'm just kind of setting it right up against this wall here. This will move a bit that way. So these will be kind of broken down. Walls and kind of similar themed over here. The buildings themselves might not be as broken down as this, but some of them might actually just have the roofs, like just be the walls, potentially, and then maybe there'll be some additional structures. Kind of around inside. So let's save, and I guarantee you I just like put some NPCs in a wall, so let's fix that. in Night Cobra. So this will take a minute to open up. Essentially, for anybody who hasn't seen me do this on a stream or seen Sean or Nick do it as well, this is loading the visual markers for like the spawn points and stuff from our database. Whew. It's a little slower when I'm streaming. Yep. Can I grab those? No, I cannot grab multiples. Okay, so let's just... move this up a little bit. And then... actually, you know what, maybe... Oops. From position... save? Yay, I did it. You can see that I don't mess with this very often. So I think it's the first time I've ever actually played around with where they're facing. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Come on. There we go. Up this up against that wall. Oops. Obviously the interiors and stuff like that could get changed around. Let's spin these walls. Up more in line with the walls that are already there. I don't think any of the crafting stations for tanning have actually been made. So I can't drop any of those in here. These houses are not going to go up. They're going to be all the same. Not perfect, but it should be a better scale at least. Let's take a look. And let's also, while I'm in here, bake this. That way I don't happen to forget. Have you watched Goblin's latest stream with the Gnome Slayer sword? No, I have not. I will have to check that one out. Weird. I wonder if I did something wrong. Because it looks like it updated and then didn't update at the same time. Because the old walls are still there. But it's like it... baked it and then it didn't. So that's the old one. Yeah, that's it, exactly. It looked like two. It looked like the old. So this is the old one. And when I baked it, it overlaid it. I'm just not gonna play with it right now, because something I don't have set up correctly. So I'll leave that, and then I'll touch base again with Lee and see why I'm baking a second version of it. Nav surface, nav mesh data. Let's try one more time. And it wasn't doing this last night when I was playing around with it, because I was trying to see if there was, because there was an issue with the old one. Yeah, it's just straight up showing both. Yeah, that's weird. Alright, I'm gonna jump over, and I already saved, so I'm not gonna save that data. And we will disable that. That way I shouldn't have a messed up nav mesh if I did something weird. Why didn't you guys go back to where you were supposed to be? What the hell? Oh, you know what? There we go. Probably should have checked to make sure I didn't repop that on somebody before I did that, but now they're in the right spot. I'm like, why are they still in the other spots? Because I didn't respawn them. Alright, so let's just take a look, run around over here real quick, and then I'm going to call the stream because I'm getting rather hungry, and it's already almost 3 o'clock. That's definitely floating, so that needs to be fixed. Probably could widen this, or increase the depth of that building a little bit. I don't like these sticking out this far. I'm going to have to probably push them in a little bit, I think. And I'm going to take 2 meters off of that, I think. And maybe a meter or 2 off the front of these. This is getting a little meter or 2 off of some of these buildings just to kind of make this feel a little bit wider. I'm going to need to clean up that path at some point as well. Cool. Alright, guys. So, that's kind of what I wanted to block out today. Still need some tweaking. For sure. And then I'm going to have to play with these cliff edges. So I think I'm going to have to flatten them up because I want a couple buildings running along this side. I don't know if I'm going to do anything along this side. I might, but this just might be more of the wall, and then maybe some kind of spots kind of sliding off the wall. And then this path needs to get cleaned up, but essentially it should line up more with this. So kind of more that way. And then be able to kind of like walk up here, and this needs to get leveled out more. And then there'd be kind of buildings along here onto that, Probably level this off a little sooner and flatten it, but get a nice kind of overview of the western districts, and then some more buildings and stuff in here. But I need to do a bunch of terrain stuff to really start blocking that out, because the terrain here is all, you know, kind of slanted and stuff like that. It isn't, not that it's going to be perfectly flat, but there's things all over the place that need to kind of get leveled out. But it's starting to feel like a city. I need to get some of those towers actually modeled and put in here. So maybe I'll do that on my next M&M stream. Cool. So, alright guys. Well, it's a little early, but I kind of at a good spot, so I think I'm going to call it here. For anybody who is new and is not aware of what we're doing, we are making an indie MMO that is very influenced by that first generation of MMOs. So EverQuest, Asheron's Call, Dark Age of Camelot, Ultima Online, those styles of games. This is a link to our website. Find all sorts of information, screenshots, videos, bios about the team, all that kind of stuff. If you guys have any other questions, obviously feel free to ask questions on my streams, but also we have a Discord channel. You can ask questions in there. All the developers are in there. We're pretty open and, you know, like to answer questions. We also have all sorts of discussions going on in there about game design in general, beyond just our game, tabletop gaming, and stuff like that. If you'd like to stay up to date but do not want to join Discord, that is our mailing list. You'll get emailed when we put out updates and surveys and things along those lines. This is the other team members that are currently streaming. So if you haven't already, make sure to throw them a follow. Everybody kind of streams their own individual aspects of development, although a lot of us kind of put our hands in other things as well. My streams are primarily level design and environment art based. Also, which actually I need to upload my last couple. Been so bad with getting my VODs up on time. But anyways, we have a YouTube channel if you want to get caught up on past VODs. Got hundreds of hours of VODs at this point between all of us. So yeah, if you are watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe, comment below. All of that stuff really helps out with getting the game out to more people that enjoy watching videos on MMOs and things like that. So it's one of the best ways you can help support us right now. So thank you. If you are watching this video on YouTube and you'd like to participate in the live chat, just follow the link somewhere down in the description to my Twitch channel, which is Paytas the Ranger, and just throw a follow to it. You'll get a notification whenever I go live, and then, you know, feel free to pop in, say hi, give comments, questions, things like that, whether it's about the game or how to do something that I'm doing. More than, you know, willing to answer any of those types of questions within reason, within the game. Obviously there are some things that we like to keep you know, keep behind the scenes in terms of like lore and stuff like that, because we think it'd just be more fun for you guys to discover that than us to sit here and tell you all the story. Other than that, that'll be it for me today. My normal streams are Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon, everybody. And have a lovely rest of your day. Later, Ishvatari. And I think I saw another... Norden also said thanks for the stream. So thanks guys, I will catch you later.